Ahead of a trip to Newcastle, how are you and the squad feeling about what could be a really exciting game?
Well, that's exactly it. We're all excited about the game. It's not playing for 3 points. Of course, you're in a cup competition. You want to win it if you can, or give it a right go. We've got all the information on Newcastle, whether they play their first Premiership team or their second Premiership team. We'll have to wait and see. But we've been through it, and you can only be excited because of the players and the finances that they've spent, not just in transfers but in wages, and it gives our lads a great opportunity really to pick their wits and to see how close they are to those types of players.
And you've obviously had some really big moments in your managerial career, but where do you think playing at St James's Park will rank in terms of your managerial career and also in these young players' careers?
Yeah, I think it's more them really. I mean, I've been to St James's Park before with a couple of teams, and it is a fantastic experience. And these for the ones that are getting it for the first time, it will be exciting, and that's why we're travelling up there today. We're going to be at Newcastle's ground on Tuesday morning, so that we can get rid of all the wow factor, so the boys can take their photos and have a look, see where their mum's sitting, and etc, or their agent, and get that out of the way, so that then when we arrive in the evening, we're ready for the game. And you have got to be ready for the game, because anything less than 100% concentration, you're going to be in trouble.
Sure. And what sort of things have you said to them since the game of the weekend? What will you look to improve on from that result?
Yeah, well, we haven't had a lot of time, obviously, from the weekend. The good thing about going away is that I'll have a good opportunity to not only review the game against Doncaster with them, but also to talk to them about the build-up and the game at Newcastle. So we've got sort of most of today once we get up there. We're training as well when we get up there. So we'll have enough time, but from Saturday's game, there hasn't been a lot of time to have a chat with them.
And where do you stand in terms of any knocks or niggles? Is the squad feeling fit?
Well, I don't think we've got anyone adding to the squad, which is a shame, because it's a shame for them really. They've missed the opportunity of playing up at Newcastle. It's a shame that we haven't got a fully fit squad coming up there, because you want that competition, etc. But the ones that are going and that will play will be the lucky ones, and they're the ones that will have the memories forever.
And lastly from me, I wonder just how pleased you are to welcome back Kobe Arthur to the club, and how he settled in since he arrived back on loan.
Well, again, he's only been here 2 days or whatever it was, one training session and one game that I suppose he didn't really see us as we are. We haven't really seen us yet. Charlton game maybe, and a couple of halves, but it's a new group, because of the group that are out. We're out, your Stozzes and your Downses, Holmans, Morgs, Munns. They were all sort of regulars last year, and so it's a bit of a new group that we've got to get going again. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time, and that's the same for Kobe, same for John Smith, same for Suleiman. It's very difficult to hit the ground running, these players, when perhaps the team's not quite gelled and not quite got going yet.
Gary, you mentioned the wow factor of St James's Park, and having been up there a couple of times before, it is a special place, isn't it? Incredible atmosphere, huge ground. So what do you think it'll be like tomorrow night?
Well, it'll be interesting, because I use the word shrinking violets, don't I? You can't be a shrinking violet. You've got to go there and believe. Well, we've earned the right to be there because we beat Charlton, and we've got to try and have as much ball as we can. Try as hard as you can to get your game going, because you've got to think about your next game in the league a few days later, and you've got to be able to deal with some of the top players in the world at Newcastle. And we'll have to see who plays, but whoever plays, they have got 40 players that are top players, and we're going to have to compete with them both, mentally, physically, tactically, all those things, and any other Lees you want to talk about. Talking about Lee, he did send over some information, and it was something like, if you keep them down to 4, you've had a right result. But that's probably a son and dad thing, though. He wants us to win, of course he does.
Yeah, two quite experienced managers. I think everyone would agree. Going to be on the touchline, and Rafa, such an incredible career, Champions League under his belt. And what's it going to be like? I mean, even with all your years of experience, you're still really excited about taking on somebody who's done that in his career.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd love to have his team in our league. We'd absolutely. So any person out there with a load of money wants to spend a few millions, I'll get you to the Championship. But anyway, that's another thing. But no, it's always good to come up against the experienced managers, and he might look across at me and wonder who I am. I don't know, but I think he'd have done his own work on us, of course, because they can't afford to not beat a Cheltenham Town team at St James's Park in a trophy that they might think they got a bit of a chance in winning. So yeah, tactically, and he has got some tactics, Rafa, because I've watched the Bristol City game. Lee's talked to me about little things that he did and little quirky things that he does with his players out on the pitch, tactically. So we have to be aware of that. But at the end of the day, it's being aware of that, but then it's being able to handle it as well. And that's what our players have got to do. So they'll know what they're coming up against. We just got to prove we can compete against that.
Yeah, obviously there was a close game on Saturday. I haven't seen the game, but you've probably watched the whole thing. It was a tight game, wasn't it? And not much between the two teams. Bristol City and Newcastle, they certainly pushed them.
Yeah, they did push them, and again, tactically, sometimes you have to sit off and have your position of strength. Sometimes you have to have a high press, and it's the whole team knowing when that transition is there. So. And I thought Bristol City done it okay, but when you pay 50 million to someone and 12 million and 20 million, it's everyone knows that they're the players. You haven't got to teach them how to play. They've already been there, done it, and got the T-shirt, as I say. And of course, Bristol City are not quite at that level just yet, but I thought they'd done okay against them, and I think looking at it, they look a strong squad, Newcastle, they do. And hopefully Bristol City can hang on to their coattails and be up there with them.
Yeah, everyone knows you're not going to settle for any sort of mediocrity this season, and you want to be winning games still, even though you stepped up. But what would constitute a decent night's work for you at Newcastle? Because you can't really demand a win there, can you? Or will you be demanding a win?
Well, some people will, won't they? And if we lose, some people will be moaning. But all I want to do is start seeing a little bit more of our game, our particular game. Our energy, our team energy, and get the newer players that have just come with us a little bit more integrated into our way of playing, and that's what we got to do. I mean, it'd be great if we had a couple of miraculous injuries recover over the next 24 hours, but I don't think that's going to happen. So really, for me, it's just to see our game, because our game will cause them a bit of a problem. How much of a problem and how much they cause us remains to be seen. But just a little bit more solid, a little bit more consistent with our game throughout the game, and then I'll be happy going into the Crewe game then.
Yeah, if confidence is a little bit low at the moment, which Dan Parslow said, there's a little bit of lack of confidence because you haven't won for a while. Yeah. In the league, do you think a decent performance up there is probably the best way to get that?
Yeah, I think so. If we're telling them that they must win this game, and then their confidence is going to crash. So we've got to make sure that they just concentrate, they bring out their best, and it's the effort really. It's the effort that people don't quite realise how much effort it takes to play our game, how much effort it takes to win last year's league. How much effort it takes for somebody like Yeovil Town to get to the Championship. How much effort it takes for Bristol City to get to one game from the Premiership. It's that it can happen for players that are not 50 million players, 50 million pound players, but they have to put in that energy and effort and work rate, and that's what we've got to keep, that are all together and all trying to do the job and know their jobs individually and collectively.
Yeah, you've gone up to a new division. You've basically had half your team out that probably would have started captain, vice captain, top scorer now out. And so, do you almost accept that it was going to be, especially with the amount of travelling you've had to do, it was going to be a difficult start? And
yeah, we knew it was going to be a difficult start, and we're certainly not giving up on anything, because in all the games we've had our opportunities. Funny enough, I haven't felt we've quite reached where we need to reach. But we will do. But it's getting the lads that are in the team, because the others are out, to raise their standards and to raise their game, and to, when the others get fit, keep them out of the team, if they can. And it's that really. But as I say, new lads can't come in for 1 day, 2 days, even a month, and just suddenly become, Gary Johnson-ified sort of thing, or Cheltenham-ified, let's say, as we've used before. So we have to give them that little bit of time while they're getting their game time. And listen, we got a real good group of lads that actually want to do well, and they're as disappointed as me, you, the supporters, the chairman, and the board. We're all disappointed when it doesn't quite go our way. But when you've got a group like that, you can turn it round. And funny enough, when you have got a group like that, you can spot the weaker ones pretty quick.
Yeah. You go through it, one last one, Gary. I mean, you go through in great detail the interview processes, you show them DVDs and what you expect. And are you still confident every one of these lads here now can reach that standard, or do you think some of them need to be sort of sacrificed almost? Yeah,
I think some, the law of averages says that some might have to be sacrificed at some stage, but then they don't get games, so they have to find somewhere where they can get games. But the stronger ones that end up coming through it end up becoming better players, better people, and you become a stronger club because of it. But like at the start of every new season, you're sort of starting again. You sometimes you don't want the summer to come, even though we all need the break. We finished really strong last year with 5 wins, 12 points, won the league. You'd love to move straight into the first game of the first division, but obviously that doesn't happen. And with all the games early, and you've got to get a lot of games into pre-season, players do get injured. And if you look all around, Doncaster had quite a few injuries, and other teams are having injuries. So it's because there's a lot of games early August. So, but I'm still enthusiastic about the future, because I think we've got a decent group of lads here that are wanting to do well. Yeah, just going into injury time now. You said that you were close to the defender, or hoping to sign a defender. Is there any chance that could happen before? Did I say defender? I think we're signing a lad that's a striker that has got to get international clearance. So we're waiting for that, and he's medical. You will see him. He'll be travelling with us, so we're pretty sure that we're going to get that. So there's a bit of news for everybody. His name's Jeffrey Monacana. He'd been at Preston. Do you mind that, George? Is that right?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I thought you was giving it. Oh no! Told everyone what. He's been at Preston. He's been at where else he been? He went from Preston to, what was the other club he was at? He was at Bristol Rovers for a little while. But anyway, Brighton. He went to Brighton. So he's played 100 and something odd league games, and he's got a little bit of power and pace that I think again we need. So we've added 3 bits of sort of pace, although Kobe looked like a little bit of a rabbit in headlights at the weekend because it was all too new for him, but he's a great athlete, and so is John Smith. and so is Jeffrey Monacana, and hopefully we can get his career going again.
Yeah, so striker in, or virtually in. I thought I heard you say something about a defender on Saturday, but I might have been wrong. But
well, I think we need I think we need a defender, another defender anyway. But you know, Downsy's chirping in my ear at the moment, and he feels he's ready. I think the physios think he's nearly ready. So it's a little bit of a balancing job as to see whether you need to bring someone in, or, as Downsy says, you know, is he ready pretty soon? And I think he is championing at the bit to play at the moment.
Brilliant. Cheers, Gary.
No problem.